being quite honest, I'm a little nervous about this next one. This little girl is my little girl. My daughter Alisa is coming on, and I'm giving her 10 questions to ask me. I have no idea what's coming, and we'll find out what that's about next.
This is the hard one.
Oh, God, okay.
Why did you leave me in New York?
Welcome to Talk My Way Out, a podcast dedicated to the pursuit of the best version of you, featuring tips and tricks, motivational stories, life hacks, and more. So keep setting goals. Pay yourself first, and always know your worth. Here is your host, Jeff Martin.
All right, welcome to the show. We got a great show for you today. Very special guest. Very, very, very special guest. And I can say that because I made you.
Yes.
Yes. Please welcome my daughter, Alisa. Now, are you nervous today?
A little bit.
I'm actually more nervous about this one than any one I've done yet.
I know.
So, because, I don't know, we have this unique ability where we make each other laugh for like no reason. And because you're very much me. Like
we're forced to make eye contact.
And we're just going to stare the whole time.
I know.
So, yeah, I wanted to get you here because you've been basically with me from the beginning. Well, actually, since I was 18. So, right. So you've seen my ups and downs. You've seen all that other stuff. And then the other thing is you become very successful on your own. You've always been into fitness. You've always been an athlete. You've always, so I want to get into that. And then you kind of followed me in the, entrepreneur space. So, we're going to get into that as well. So are you nervous?
Should be fun.
And I'm going to let you do something special. So let me preempt this. I'm very nervous about this part. I told Alisa that she could ask me 10 questions, anything she wanted. Nothing was off base. Like you could ask me literally anything you've ever wanted to know, and I'll answer you directly and truthfully on the show. So do I have any pre-notion of what you're going to ask me?
You have no idea.
So you're going to be blind-signing me.
Some are easy, some are hard.
Okay.
So.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Better not make me cry.
I hope not.
Don't make me look soft. So first, I just want to get into, what's your earliest memory of me? Like, what do you think? Did you always see me as like a heavy guy, or how was it?
Always heavy. I think it was just like it's abnormal to see you this size. Then I'm just so used to you being like this big, giant teddy bear. So that kind of was always the norm for me growing up and being around you and stuff. And
it was funny because I used to tell you I was like Alisa, I was an athlete. Like I played sports, I was really good. Yeah. And then you're like,
and
no.
I blew it off until I like saw a few photos of you like from then, and I was like, oh wait, he wasn't lying. He actually was like in pretty good shape. But yeah, it was it's more abnormal to see you now than then. And
actually the weird thing is like when you're a kid, like that's what's funny for me is like there was a couple times where I kind of got down pretty skinny again. Cause I remember like, we're both from upstate New York. I was going to be like, where are you from? I was like, but I know exactly where you're from.
Troy, New York.
Yeah. Troy, New York. And like, so you used to fly down all the time. And I remember one time I lost a lot of weight in the time that I hadn't seen you. And at first, like, you were probably like 6 or 7 years old and you were like, Dad, like you were just like, what? Yeah. And it's so weird to me that you don't even have any recollection of that. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the skinniest you've ever seen me.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm proud to say I actually wear, I got into 34 pants this week.
Nice.
Which I think is the same size that your boyfriend wears, right?
I think so.
All right. And it is one size smaller than when I made you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm wearing smaller pants in high school.
Then you were 18. That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I was in pretty good shape back then.
Yeah.
So with you, like what has been like the fitness drive your whole life?
I don't know where that came from. I think because mom's not very athletic, but you, like you said, you always have been.
Well, mom's always been skinny. Like she's
always
never
been skinny. And I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I never wanted to like let myself go like you did. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh man, like if that's in my genes or something.
Paranoid.
Yeah. So it's just something I've always enjoyed ever since high school. And I just like doing things, being active, and just it's really good for your brain and just releasing the endorphins and stuff.
Because even like preteen, you were like really into fitness. Like I remember you wanted a gym membership when you were like 12. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I'm not bringing you to the gym at 12.
I don't know what created that. Like I don't know like the day that sparked, but I've always, ever since then, I've always been into it. And
your diet's always been on point. Like you any kid like would have some cravings, but like you stayed pretty strict.
No candy.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, Alisa like has barely ever drank soda. Like I think maybe ginger ale when you were sick. Yeah, you know what I mean? But like,
I don't like soda actually. So that
because you said it like burns.
Yeah, But my biggest cheat is I really love cereal at night. I love cereal.
Big bowl of cereal.
Big bowl of cereal. Oh, but I do it with almond milk, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
So
whatever you got to tell yourself.
Yeah.
So. No, I just I never liked cereal really. Like that was a weird thing with me when I gained weight. It was just huge portions.
Right. Like I remember. Like, you never would have big bowls of
whatever
food.
I made.
Yeah.
But you never really saw me eating sweets and like candies and like, I would have occasional, but
I think you said in episode 1 like pasta. Like pasta was your thing.
I would eat like a whole box of pasta.
Pasta's my thing too. And bread and just all the carbs.
I'm just not good with carbs. Like, when I did that 75-mile challenge, I introduced some rice back into it. And literally, I went up 0.5% of body fat, man. Just from a week. A week of eating rice, like just to give me the extra carbs. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going back clean. Super
cauliflower
clean.
rice, you could do that instead.
Yeah. But I was just trying to get that pep in my step.
Yeah.
So, so you always been, really into the fitness and everything, and I wasn't.
And that kind of drove me crazy because I was like, why? Like, if he's watching his daughter do this, and how like, why am I not rubbing off on him at all? Like,
and you would try.
Oh yeah,
you absolutely tried and tried and tried.
But then I got to the point where I just was like, he doesn't want to.
I was like, come on, well, next time. Or several times I would start and go hard, and then I would quit.
Yeah.
Like, I was saying that on one of the previous episodes. I would lose 20 pounds, but then gain 30, and then lose another 20, but then gain 40. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was just like every time I'd go negative, but then I would add.
And I don't think I ever took the time to like ask you why that happened. Like I was so used to that happening.
Yeah.
The hills that it's not that I didn't care, but I was just like, he's.
To me, I'm a very like, got to have instant gratification. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Me too.
And I would just put bulldog force into things. And like, it's weird. Like, I think I would work out for 3 months and look like Channing Tatum.
Right.
And now I'm like 4.5 months or 4.5 years in of like almost nonstop. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing progress now, little bits, but it took so long to get there because in my head, like I didn't realize I was that big because I was active.
Yeah.
You
just seem like you're like, internally it didn't match the outside.
I was confident and cocky.
Yeah. Yes. You always have been.
Yeah.
So
it was like I remember your cousin AJ, and he's like, Uncle, how do you do it? He's like, you're a big man, and you date really good looking women. How's that happen?
Right.
And it was just, I guess, confidence. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was 400 pounds, but I acted like I was like 190 and cut.
Right, and you've always been funny. Yeah. And I feel like, although your sense of humor, like, does come naturally, I feel like you probably had to overcompensate with that.
Oh, I absolutely did. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times, like, some of the funniest people in the world, it. I mean, you worked at the comedy club. Mm-hmm. Some of the biggest shining stars of comedy are some of the most tortured people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they would be off stage and just, hurting and that's where comedy comes from for most people, especially
you try to make laugh at yourself.
Yeah. Before somebody else
someone laughs at you.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, there was a funny episode in high school and, I'm talking about, Bird Island.
Oh, I have that on my notes to talk about.
Oh my God. Okay, well, we'll talk about that because it was funny. You were in high school. You moved down here with me when you were 13 from New York. You came down to live with me because you wanted to be at the beach and you missed Dad. And so we worked that out. You came down. And then you got a new group of friends down here. Mm-hmm. And I didn't make it easy on you, like going to school. Mm-mm. I mean, the thing is, like, we're like best friends.
Right.
We've always been very, very close.
And you have to remember that first year, like when I moved here from New York, I didn't know a single person besides
Not one.
you.
Well, your cousins, but they didn't even go to your school.
They lived far away. So it was just me and you for like a solid year until I actually had like friends.
And so like I would bring you to school every day. And then like, you know, I had this Cadillac, man, and you hated it.
The green Cadillac.
It was so comfortable.
The creepy green Cadillac.
So, but I remember you finally got friends and you're like, Dad, will you come pick up my friends after school? And I came to pick you up at school and I put on a jean jacket.
And the mustache.
And a fake mustache. And I had aviators on. And I got out of the car and I was leaning on the car waiting for you to come out. And I'm like, Alisa.
She was like, is that my new friend that was so excited to like have ride home with me? He was like, is that your dad? And I'm like, yeah. I don't know what he's doing right now.
You said the funniest thing to me once. You said, I'm so glad I wasn't a boy. And I'm like, why? And you're like, because I'd be such an a-hole. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
yep.
What do you mean? And you're like, because I'm a girl. And she's like, you tormented me and like pranked me and did like all these things. She's like, you would have been wide open if I was a boy.
Right.
But you know what? I think that made your character though.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty spunky like you.
But you're a beautiful girl. And like in your whole life, I've never seen you treat anybody bad.
Right.
Like, you know, the unpopular kid, the regular kid, everyone is just a person to you. And I think if I treated you more like a princess, you would have had a different attitude.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with that.
So I think that, you know, maybe I probably tomboy treated you a little bit, but like I think that built your spine, you know, like you were able to deal with a lot of things. Before
I forget, and thank you for that compliment. Before I forget, we have to talk about, and I didn't put this in my notes, but I want to talk about it, the I'm always hungry story. So,
oh my God.
I moved, you know, like Dad said, I moved here at 13 and, you know, you're having to deal with me at a weird time period and like my emotions are all over the place. And
I was a single dad.
Yep. Didn't know what the heck to do with a 13-year-old woman, or girl turning into a woman.
Speaking of that, before you get into that, I remember you called me one time and oh, never mind. We'll skip that one. That might be embarrassing.
I think I know.
You know what I was going to talk about. We'll hold that back.
Yeah.
Say
that for another episode.
We'll say it next episode.
But no, so you picked me up from school. I remember my last class of the day was gym. And, you know, that's when I was really getting into the fitness thing. And that was my favorite class. And it was one of those where you test your fitness, you weigh yourself, all this stuff. And I weighed myself and then the class ended and
you did good on the fitness test. Like, that's not what you were upset about.
Weigh myself, get in the car, you see me, you're like, what's wrong? I just start bawling my eyes out because I, was heavier than I thought I was. I guess I never used to weigh myself.
Because muscle weighs more.
Right. And, I mean, we're talking I was probably 120 pounds, and I thought I was, 200 pounds. And you just couldn't take me seriously, and you're like, you kept laughing. You're not laughing, trying not to laugh.
Because you were looking out the window,
all pathetic,
and you're just like, and I'm like, who is it? You know, I went straight daddy bear. I was like, who messed with you? And you turned your head, and you're like, I'm always hungry, and so. I didn't know how to deal with that. You know what I mean? So I laughed in your face.
I know.
I feel bad, but it was the ridiculousness of it. Like me thinking someone hurt my baby girl.
I know.
And then you're upset about eating, you know? And, but in the looking back, that's a serious thing for teenage girls. You know what I mean? And, so maybe I didn't handle it.
And I look back at photos at that time. I was like a toothpick, so I don't know what I was. I think I was just my emotions were all over the place, hormones.
And the other thing too is there's things, you know, because I said on here I didn't know I had Asperger's, I didn't know I had autism, and you know, looking back at situations like that, it was probably I didn't know. I kind of short circuited and didn't know how to handle
it. Yeah.
The situation, because that's not one instance. There's been several instances where you know, you slipped on the stairs and you were like, ow, you know, and the cat scratched you and and I just started laughing. You know,
you laughed every time I got hurt.
Yeah. And I just think it's a reaction. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's so weird because like finding that diagnosis out like 2 years ago, it really put a lot of clarity on a lot of things, because being honest with you, I mean, there were sometimes I felt like a bad dad because like, I just wouldn't feel like I was as engaged, but it was like maybe because I didn't know how to correctly, like, I loved you,
right. Yeah.
But like there's a lot of times probably I wasn't the best dad,
or like the emotions didn't match up to like what was happening.
Yeah.
But instead you would just play pranks and put prosthetic legs in my bed and stuff like that. So
why don't you tell the prosthetic leg story?
I was at my friend Nicole's house and you called me and you're like, "Hey buddy, come home, I got a surprise for you." And at that point in time I was asking for a dog, so I'm like, "Nicole, bring me home." I didn't have a car at the time, so I said, "Nicole, bring me home. Dad got me a dog." And she's like, "Oh, okay, you just got here." But I'm like, "No, I got a dog for sure." So I knew something was up the moment that I opened the door and you're like recording. And I'm like,
and this was even pre cell phone video,
right.
So like I had a real
you
camera.
Had like the camera thing, and then like, you're like, "All right, buddy, go upstairs, go see your surprise." And I didn't hear a dog, so I was like, "Well, what could this be?" I go upstairs, I open the room, and there's just like something in my bed, not moving. I'm like, this is definitely not a dog.
Well, it was a foot sticking out with like a sock, right?
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember lifting up the thing, still excited to see whatever it was, and it was this giant prosthetic leg, and I got so upset because I just got to Nicole's house, and I made her bring me back thinking it was something special. And then I was like, where did you find this? And you're like, "Oh, by the dumpster." And I was like, "So you put it in my bed?"
No, like in my defense, I was dropping some stuff off, and this guy like it was like a sample. It wasn't like I took it off a guy. Like it was like the sample that they show people to sell them, and he was getting rid of it. And I was like, "Oh, can I have that?" And he goes, "What do you want for that?" I was like, I got ideas. And then so I put a sock on it and put it in your bed.
Yeah.
The funny thing was it was in your closet for like a year and a half.
I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know if you, like, I guess I could have thrown it out, but we should have made one of those little lamps out of it.
Oh, leg lamp, yeah.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about Bird Island story?
Yeah.
Because that kind of goes into how like my feelings toward you being obese.
Yeah. All right. So this is actually very funny. So you went out with all your friends. And all your friends were super fit. You guys were tan, abs, like you were just like, South Carolina beach girls, you know what I mean? Blonde hair and just like fun and sun. So I didn't know you were on Bird Island. And I
didn't know you were on Bird Island.
Well, I didn't plan to. And then we got somebody who called us. So we go out there. I'm there with the whole family and everything. And I'm there and I'm in the water and just having a good time. And all of a sudden, I see like six like teenage girls just walking down the beach having fun, and I just looked up. But at the same time, you guys were walking down the beach. You saw me in the water, and go ahead, you take it from there.
My one friend, I will not say her name. She was like, "Wow, that is one fat dude in the water over there." And I look, and I saw it was my dad, and.
And then right at that moment, I'm like, "Alisa!"
You're in the water,
hi.
like, Alisa. And she just, she felt so bad. But I felt bad.
Because this girl, like, she used to stay over at our house all the time. Like, she called me dad. Like, you know what I mean?
She's like, "Wow, that is one fat dude." And she's like, "Oh my God, that's your dad."
Well, she said fat, pale dude because I hadn't seen the sun since like 93.
Right. You've always been pale, but.
Still am.
Yeah. So that kind of like, I hate to say it, like at that point in time, I think I felt bad for you, but I also was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've got the big fat dad that, my friends are like going out of their way to point out, which that was wrong for anyone to do that.
The thing is looking back, like it is selfish. Like it really is. As a parent, like I'm shortening my life to be there for you. Second, that situation you probably should never had to have, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I mean, just looking back, like, just overeating and stuff like that, there was no payoff for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you start thinking about other people in your life and everything like that, like how that affected you, you know what I mean? It's a funny story for us now. Yeah. We're like, ha. Yeah. I mean, even the girl who said it to me.
At the time, I was mortified for you and for her feeling bad about the situation. Which, by the way, I don't even know how or why you were in the water with your shirt off, because I just remember us going to the beach. You refused to take your shirt off. Like, you would always, it was always you stopped going to the beach.
Oh, I would come.
And I love the beach.
Be like, man, I just don't want to get sunburned, man.
Yeah,
like,
I just don't want to get sunburned.
I don't want to take it off.
No, you just didn't want to be the fat guy on the beach.
Exactly.
So,
because it'd be bad, man. If I took my shirt off, it would burn on top of my belly, and it'd be white underneath. Yeah. Like, it was, So there's a bunch of, so there was, I mean, there had to have been several times that you were kind of embarrassed about,
Yeah, I can't think of them right now, but there was like moments like that.
And the other thing too is when I was in that mindset, I also let myself go. Like, I wouldn't get hair, and like now it's so crazy how that changes everything, because like, I mean, I go get my hair cut like every 2 weeks now,
right?
And like, being able to go buy clothes and not have to go like the big boy store to find them, or try stuff on just to have it not fit. I mean, I actually enjoy
going. You hated shopping.
Oh, I couldn't stand it.
I remember I even tried to go with you to help out a little bit. And
it's just stressful because nothing looks good on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just different. It's finding different covers.
And, me having to shop for you for birthdays and Christmas and stuff, like, I'm like, God, I don't even know. Like, I'm holding something up, and I'm like, is this really his size? Like, I put it up against me, and I'm like,
well, I sent you something, like 6 months ago, and it was something you bought for me for Christmas like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, kid, we finally fit in this now.
Finally fit in it, yeah.
And the thing is, I couldn't get rid of it because like I felt bad that you bought it for me, but it didn't fit.
And it was Step Brothers, so you couldn't get rid of it because it was the best shirt ever.
Step Brothers, yes. Yeah. Best movie ever.
Do you want me to ask some questions?
All right. Yeah, so let's get to this part, and then I want to get to the whole entrepreneurial thing too.
Okay.
But this is a fun challenge for you parents at home. I suggest that you try to do it with your kids, maybe. Especially, you do it with your kids if they're over 18. So I told Alisa she could ask me 10 questions, anything she's ever wanted to know, and I will answer truthfully. So are we starting easy or hard?
We're just going to go easy. We're going to focus on fitness stuff in the beginning, and then it will kind of turn into like personal stuff. Yes. So, I mean,
I'm nervous.
Some are questions, some are kind of like stories, but so I want to ask you, when I tried to get you to take control of your health 10 years ago, why didn't you?
Probably because I was selfish and the food. I didn't think I could get it back, honestly.
Do you think, because at that time, I'm 27 now, so at the time, it was probably more than 10 years ago. I was really at 15, 16, junior high school.
And a lot of it with me too, I think at the time was stress, having the other businesses and always being go, go, go.
That always came first.
Yeah. And eating late night, and that's so crazy because this whole thing, I kind of came up with that phrase, pay yourself first. Mm-hmm. I don't think I did that for a very long time. Yeah. And I think a lot of times, like even you came second to the businesses because
I just remember if I needed something, I feel like you'd say, yeah, no problem, no doubt. And then it just was always pushed.
And the thing was, I always wanted to, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to get fit for you. I wanted to get fit for me. I wanted to get, I've always wanted to, but it was just like, I think work always came first.
And I kind of don't, I feel like you kind of didn't take me seriously when I really was trying to push you. And you're just like, oh, you're just being a sweet little daughter, like, love you. Like,
Daddy's okay, Daddy.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And the thing is like, I honestly thought I was okay because I'd be working 12, 14-hour days and handling it, 7 days a week.
Right.
And the thing where I was wrong, I think work came first. But in my mind, it was because I was taking care of you. You know what I mean? Like, I have to work this much so I can give her, what she wants. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, that's probably it, like being selfish and not paying myself first, probably.
Okay. Just a quick, easy one. What is your favorite exercise? Like, if you had to choose one exercise that you love to do.
Curls, because I like big arms. So, yeah, you do. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, you can't really see them.
Do you think you're more fit than me now?
Yes, I think I
work out twice as much as you, though. And I got you by like 18 years.
Yeah, I mean, No.
You think you'll be doing 2-a-days at 45, young lady?
Probably. Yeah. And what is your least favorite exercise?
Squats.
Yeah.
Especially since, I mean, I know they're so like I love deadlifts, but I hate squats.
I'm the same way.
And
I hate squats.
Since I got the surgery, the problem that I have is I had to get my abs re-sewn together. You were there. And so I had to get them, they were separated, like, a pregnant woman, afterwards, and had to get reconstructed. So ever since I did that, there's scar tissue in the middle. So it'd be the equivalent of trying to do a squat with a corset on.
Yeah.
So when I go down, I can't breathe. Like, I can't even breathe out, like, how you would just like, So they make me super lightheaded now, and I'm trying to stretch and get it out, but I hated them even before that.
Right. I'm right there with you. Okay, story time. You told me a story. I was not there, but when you told me this story, I just wanted to cry because I just hated it for you, and I feel like a lot of people that are in your shoes have gone through the same thing. The story about when you went to, you were at Planet Fitness and you fell.
Oh, I fell? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was doing, I was doing lat pull downs with the cable, mm-hmm. and then I stood up to get it and I went down, but then the seat wasn't there and I fell. But then I'm holding the weight and trying to get up, and I didn't want to let it go to let that lunk alarm.
I know.
So I'm just like struggling, and like these two dudes are just watching me, man. And then I was like,
and this is when you were like large.
I was probably like 380 maybe.
That was when you were attempting to like do something, and I feel like that completely discouraged you.
Well, I still kept working out that day, but like I felt just defeated. Right. You know what I mean? But yeah, because I just missed the seat. I missed the seat and fell on the ground, and I'm sitting there with the T-bar, and I'm just like trying to get up, but I can't put, because if I put one hand down to try to get up, I would have. Like, I know. So it was bad.
So you know where the next story is going?
No. What?
Our first day at ISI.
Oh my God.
We were doing
which I have to thank you, because you tried to get me into ISI for the longest time.
Oh, forever. And I knew you needed that.
And
that group.
Looking back at it now, like I was so dumb to not do it when you told me to, because like I would have been so much further ahead now. Yeah. But
I mean, but you have to start somewhere. So
I would just every excuse I'd be like, oh, it costs too much. What you get in return for what you pay is like insane. Next week I got one of the main trainers coming who's helped me like the last year and a half. Kurt, he's gonna be on the show, and like the way they push you, it's like having your own personal trainer like all the time. But yeah, that first day, like, because you had me sign up for the 10-day free trial,
right?
And so we had to run down the AstroTurf and back. And so like literally it was
like a relay where you're having to race other people. There was 4 lines, and I was looking back at you, and I'm like, you good, Dad?
I got this. I'm all jacked up.
I got this. And
3 steps I fell and skinned my chin.
You just, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
You ate shit on the turf. And I remember I was on the sidelines. I was like, yeah. And that happened. I was like,
no. And then you started laughing at me. So you talk about me laughing at you. You were laughing at me.
I guess because I was so nervous and like embarrassed for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Well, it wasn't even that. I'm like slowly getting up. I'm like, ow, because like it's already watering. And then everybody's like an 80s movie. Like, yay, get up.
And then you walked over to me. I forget what you said. It was something like, well, won't be doing that again. Then we were at... That whole week we were having to do like sprints and stuff. But
it's so crazy because I started there with you, and like I couldn't do so much of the stuff, like the box jumps or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it all now.
You're so limited. Like I remember it was like simple things that you were like, you couldn't figure out how to do it and stuff.
Just uncoordinated.
Like, yeah.
And
yeah.
Because
and that's not what I remembered. Like I always remember you talking about like, I'm so athletic, this, that, and the other. And it's like your body just like stole that from you. Like it was like it went on hold. Like the drive was there and the fire was there, and I knew I had it in me to get back, but it was like I was actually talking to my friend earlier today, and I was like it's just a magic moment when you get to that point and you're like, there you are. Right.
You know what I mean? And then I started doing things like I started doing things at the gym that other people weren't doing. And I started getting stronger than other people.
It was like your aha moment.
Yeah. And I was like, there he is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the sense of pride that you get from that is crazy. But yeah, I mean, I give you all the credit in the world, and I thank you because
oh God, I wasn't ready to cry yet.
I wouldn't be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love you. I'd get up, but I know it'd mess up the cameras.
No, but you got me back in there, and you lit that fire, and when I needed it the most. And
I'm a really ugly crier, so I'm trying not to.
You got makeup. No, but you got me in like with a group of people that have like become a family.
You need that.
And
you've been through so much this just like the last 2 years alone. Like I can't imagine going through what you've gone through, and I knew you needed something like that.
And it was like I had two choices, like, go back to where I was, which I already fought my way, but like you knew if you got me in there and you lit that fire and you got that team mentality on me, like I wouldn't look like I do.
Yeah. I think it's so cool to this past year, people ask, they're like, before people would be like, where's your dad been? Where's your dad been? And my response would be, he's like a hermit crab,
Yeah.
He works from home. I always blame it on work, but I think
I was depressed.
You're depressed. You box yourself in. And to, like, you say, like, you're going somewhere for dinner, or, like, you're doing this or you're doing that. I'm like, what? Like, who is this person? Like, you, like, got your life back. And I just, that's what I always wanted.
For the first time in a really long time, I feel like the outside matches the inside.
Right.
And, it's been tough. And, like, people are like, oh, are you done yet? I'm like, no, I want to see how far I can take this now, because I didn't think I could get this far.
Right.
And, but it was you. Like, I mean, I got thin, I'm only 30 pounds lighter than when I joined, ISI when I went with you.
Right.
But of course, more muscle and all that stuff. But, I got thin, but I became an athlete because of you. You gave me, my athleticism back.
Now we're the daddy-daughter duo.
I texted you that the other day when we were talking about the podcast. I was like, who would have thought of the two of us, I'd be the fitness influencer, not you.
Right.
Like,
I know.
Because you're a fitness model. You do magazines and all sorts of stuff. So,
yeah. Yep.
But thank you.
You're very welcome.
Whew, you got me. You made me cry.
So let's go to more like personal stuff and not fitness based.
Thanks, Oprah.
Over the years, you've taken on so many different career paths. You've been all over the place. I get it. You're a workaholic. And I do think a little bit of that is like the Asperger's in you. Like, it's kind of like you like projects and, once they're finished, it's like on to the next thing.
Yeah.
For a while now, it used to be voiceover. It is voiceover now. Is voiceover here to stay? Yes,
no matter what. Because that was my first love. I started in radio when I was like 14 years old. I did that my whole thing, my whole career, and I got out for a while thinking it was the right thing to do, when radio got real corporate. But I always missed it. And I always like, even for my own businesses, I would do, production, audio or video. Yeah. But that was the thing is like, 5 years ago, I was like, I'm just going to go back to doing what I love. And then, it's crazy now to be in like 46 countries. I voiced the whole Fox television network in Asia.
I remember when you got that job, you called me. And
oh my God.
Guess what?
Because there's only a couple guys in the world that do that, and it's just to be like, to have an idea and be like, what, I'm going to do that. And then people are like, yeah. And then to voice a major network, like this week I did Snap-on Tools. I mean? It's crazy that I do these big, companies and, can do it from the beach. You know what I mean? Like even, 5-6 years ago, you'd have to be in a major city. And that was kind of like a deterrent because I tried to do it once before when I was younger. You probably don't remember. But you know, I failed because, you know, it was all local and nobody wanted to pay for anything because they got it free from the things. But now, you know, to be in 46 countries, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's forever. I mean, that's
my favorite is the club ones you have to do.
Yeah. The horns. Yeah. This Thursday night. Hype man.
Okay. 27 years ago. Well, I guess maybe 28 years ago. When you found out Mom was pregnant, were you scared, excited? Like, what was your initial emotion?
I'm going to let you in on something that you never even knew.
Oh, no.
A month before your mom knew that she was pregnant with you, we had a scare that she was pregnant. And we freaked out, man. Like we were like, oh, my God, you know, and like I remember we had to go buy the test. But, I mean, she was like, you know, 17, I was 18. Like we were just like so nervous to even go get the test. So then we waited like a week and then we finally got the test and then it was negative. And we're like, whoo, we dodged a bullet. And then like the next month.
Then the bullet came.
Then the next month you won the race.
Wow.
So.
The fastest ever.
So you were an athlete right from day one?
Yeah. Okay. This is the hard one.
Oh, God. Okay.
And this is my last one, and I shouldn't have made this the last one, but why did you leave me in New York?
Wow, that's tough. At the time, it was probably selfish, you know, because I was on the verge of like a really big career, but I had to leave to do it. You know, I had to go to work in New York and go to all that. And it wasn't that I didn't leave you. Mom had a new boyfriend at the time that made it very difficult to try to see you. Like he tried to battle me every single time. I'm sure you heard his story. Like Christmas, I tried to get you and I was like, you know, I'll beat your ass unless you can bring my daughter out here because it was almost like they created this new family, and it's nothing against your mom. It was just like it was like out of sight, out of mind. I'm gonna find my new normal, but that new normal didn't include me very much, and so like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go do, you know, what I'm gonna do, but at the same time, you know, my thinking at the time was like, okay, she's so young, she's not going to remember this part. I'll be there when she needs me. And like you had a cell phone since you were like, what, 7 or 8 years old? Yeah. So I could call you in New York.
Right.
And, you know, that was my thinking. And the other thing, kid, I was young. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was doing. 19, 20 years old. I was scared. I didn't know, you know, what to do. And like when me and your mom split up, I thought I lost you guys as a family, you know, so I didn't know how to do it, but it was, I must admit,
it was my choice to move to live with you, but I was really scared because even though you were around, like it was, I saw you once a year kind of thing. So I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to live with my dad, but like, I don't really know my dad that well, only from random phone calls on my little Nokia cell phone. And so that was a big, big step. And all my friends were like, man, it must be awesome having like such young parents. And, you know, and it's great. Like we're best friends. I'm best friends with you. I'm best friends with my mom. I love you guys to death. But at the same time, it kind of was a struggle. Like it's almost like sometimes I kind of wanted you guys to be more of parents than best friends.
Yeah.
So
and I think a lot of that was we were just so young and we didn't know what we were doing. You know what I mean?
And then you got me when I'm 13. I'm like this like fragile little.
I remember like, even when you like you're like, oh, such and such's parents are doing this, such and such's parents are doing that. I'm like, such and such's parents are 58 years old. I was like, I'll be there when I'm 58. My
2000 Volkswagen Jetta, the first car. You bought it for me, and I mean, I loved that car. It was great, but my friends were driving Audis and Mercedes and Land Rovers and stuff, and, you know, at that time, at 15, you can't.
But what do you drive now?
Well, my Lexus is in the shop.
Because you learned how to, and, you know, so we'll pivot on that because there's a lot of emotions, a lot of tears.
Yeah.
you hit me. But the bottom line, I think me and your mom were very young. I didn't know how to deal with the boyfriend new life situation. And, you know, I didn't think it was good for you to see me battling nonstop, you know, especially if they were treating you okay and everything like that. And then my thought was, you know, go be successful, come back when, you know, she's older. I should have been there more, though, absolutely. But it wasn't because I didn't love you.
I know that.
So, but I've been trying to teach you cool things along the way.
Yeah.
And so
learn a lot.
So you've worked with me in all my businesses. You used to hate me for not treating you any different than anybody else.
I know.
But now that you opened your own place, you kind of get it, right?
I understand completely.
So yeah, we used to have the teen club, and like I remember the one time you let like 6 of your friends up back, and I was like, you know how much money that is?
But do you know how hard it was to be 16 and your dad's like owns like the coolest teen club in the world, and all your friends like wanted to go, and you had to charge them. Like it was. I get it though. I get it. But at that time, at 16, I didn't appreciate the dollar bill as much.
How many of your friends do you give free juices to? Everyone that comes in?
I give them a free juice after their 10th. They buy 9.
Yeah, see?
Free.
Yeah, this is that one. So let's talk about that. This year you launched Producery in the middle of a pandemic when everyone else was closing. So
correct.
What made you decide to do that?
I remember I called you. I was thinking about it. I've been really big into juicing. I used to order cleanses online and stuff, but I didn't really like it that much because I knew they weren't as fresh as they could be. You know, they were flash freezing them and mailing them, and it just wasn't true juicing. Juicing from home is so messy, but so I didn't want to do that every day. But I knew if I had the right equipment, it's something that can be done in batches, and you know, can help friends, family, help with diets and stuff like that. And it fit in the whole fitness world. So it was something I was thinking, I've been pondering for like over a year, and you know me ever since I was 16. I wanted to own something.
You just kept sending me business ideas, and I was like, no.
Yeah, no. Even this, you're like, buddy, you know, let's wait it out.
This one I understood.
Yeah.
But it was the timing with the pandemic. Yeah. I was just like, dude.
You're like, I don't do it right now.
But you were the smartest because like even like the equipment, like you got quoted like a crazy astronomical amount on the equipment. Mm-hmm. But then you found a restaurant that was closing that was auctioning their stuff. And you were able to get it because no one else bid on it because they're like, who's going to open a restaurant during a pandemic?
Right.
This kid.
I did. Yeah. So I just stuck to my gut. I mean, you've had successes. You've had some not so good. Yeah. But I've learned a lot from you and from you running businesses and stuff. And I've always had that entrepreneurial inside me. Like I wanted to have something of my own.
And the whole thing is Producery is not your only. You have a regular job, and Producery is your side,
right? Which
is crazy because some people wouldn't even open that as their full time, and you're like, that's my side hustle.
It's really important to me. I love everyone that comes there. In hearing their stories and how much our juices help them, and even our like protein shakes, and just being able to go somewhere and that's quick and easy for healthy food is just
And the thing is, like, I didn't realize how much goes in it. Like pounds of stuff goes into this one bottle. And you guys, like, I remember I tried to help you one time, and it was like that much short. It was like not even like an eighth of an inch. And I was like, oh, let's just put some water in it. And you're like, no, don't you dare.
Absolutely not.
And you actually juiced more just to fill it to the top. Like, you won't even add water.
No.
And you guys are insane, like how like to detail you are, and the ingredients and everything is so important. You and Rachel are both.
And I think you talked about maybe you didn't, but like this, like the graphic designs and like stuff like that. That's stuff I've watched you on like Photoshop, and I've watched you over the years do so many different things. And like, so I created the label, and I you go in the store, everything. What was
your latest design logo? That one.
I did that.
Alisa made that.
Yeah.
She designed the one for the show.
Yep.
So everything, even the jumping guy.
But I know how you are, though. I thought when I sent this to you, I was like, he's going to make some edits, or he's. I
really didn't do anything to it.
I know. It's great.
I did nothing to it.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah, so I love it. And, because there's so many hidden things for me. It's like jumping from the old life into the new. Talk my way out is, I talk for a living. So I talk my way out of that old life into the new one. all the pluses is like positive things. Yep. And you're like there's somebody climbing the stairs. Like there's so many hidden things in that. I just loved it. So, and I love you.
I love you too.
So thank you so much. I owe you everything for this last year for sure. Actually, year and a half.
We've been through a lot this last 2 years. Have been crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, every time you're at your lowest, I was like, listen, it can only go up from here, and I feel like it really has. Like,
and you really are my best friend. Like, I mean, I'll be like, dude, I'm having a tough time. Like, everybody sees me as like, go, Jeff can do it. Like, Jeff's a machine. I have my lows just like everybody else, and you're the one who catches that. You know what I mean? And you're like, come on. And you do it to me too. You're like,
oh yeah.
It always starts, Dad. So, but I love you and thank you for coming on here. So, what do you think about the show? You think it's gonna be good?
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. We're gonna change some lives, kiddo.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, Daddy, the fitness influencer, huh?
Love you.
All right, love you. Good.
Yay!
You got me, you son of
a biscuit.
Thanks for joining Talk My Way Out. Be sure to like, follow, comment, and subscribe. You can also reach out to us on social media at Talk My Way Out. Until next time, remember to pay yourself first and always know your worth.